Well, what do you know? What do you know? I know that I'm sitting here waiting on a relay load, so figured what a better time than now to recap last week. So, speaking of this relay load, this thing, the ready time on it keeps bouncing all over the place. When I got here yesterday evening, which I ran late yesterday, it showed the ready time to be 10 o'clock this morning. And I thought, well, no big deal. A little later than what I wanted to start, but I parked up about 2.5 miles around the corner from the yard in our Kansas City yard to wait on it. And before I had laid down last night, the ready time had changed to 9 a.m. So I thought, sweet, they're running a little ahead of the game, so that's even better. And then by the time I woke up this morning, it was setting at like 8 o'clock, and I was like, even better, even better. Well, as I've sat here and waited and drank my coffee this morning, it has changed. It changed to 9 o'clock, then 9:30, then 9:45. Now it's currently sitting at 10:30. So, looks like I'm going to be getting a late start today. So not exactly how I want to start my day, but either way, I've got X amount of miles I got to run today, so I'm probably going to end up having to reserve me a spot, which I'm probably fixing to do, so that way I've got a place to park when I get to where I'm going this evening. So, enough about that relay load. We'll get on to the weekly recap. Let's see how the week turned out. Since I have a tendency to haul sailboat fuel, we'll see if I did all right. So last week I ended the week at North Canton, Ohio. And from North Canton, Ohio, I deadheaded 59 miles over to Warren, Ohio. And I believe that was a live load. And I hauled that load 765 miles to McCalla, Alabama. McCalla, however y'all pronounce that. That was 824 total miles. Sorry. And that load paid $2,019.81. That's a rate of $2.45 a mile. And the load weighed 9,231 pounds. So pretty light load, pretty good rate. Alabama's not exactly a great reload area, but usually by that time on the week when I'm trying to get back to the house, you know, I'll start heading towards the south, or as long as it's getting me back in the general direction of what I need to go, it usually works for me. So from McCalla, Alabama, I deadheaded 262 miles to Mobile, Alabama. Now this was first off, this was one of them loads you got to watch out for, because I'm pretty positive when I booked it, it showed 187 deadhead miles. And before I booked it, I had already looked at it, and you could run 187 miles if you wanted to run state highways through Alabama. Apple Maps showed that it was quicker, and I believe it was quicker too, especially in a semi, I didn't want to run through every little small town in Alabama. To run the 262 miles of interstate, I had to kind of run in a roundabout way to get there. But anyway, 262 miles is what I deadheaded to Mobile, Alabama. Anyway, what I was getting at though is you gotta watch those though. A lot of the loads are pretty close on the load board. The deadhead miles will be fairly close, but it's always best to double check them, because you will find that sometimes the shortest truck route isn't exactly the route you want to run. So, you know, you need to figure that into your rate. So anyway, 262 miles down to Mobile, Alabama. Now, Mobile, Alabama. I bumped the dock, sat there for about an hour. After I bumped the dock, the truck to the left of me and to the right of me bumped docks after I did. And after sitting there for a little while, you know, my truck hasn't moved, but theirs is over here shaking and banging and everything else. And I was starting to get curious as to why mine wasn't moving. And about that time, some guy come walking out to my window and informed me that I drew the short stick. They didn't have enough product to fill that order, and that the order was going to cancel. So 262 miles to Mobile, Alabama to pick up a load that canceled on me. So at this point, this was on Wednesday. I'm scheduled to be home by Friday. I was hoping to be home by Thursday evening so I could beat the snow and not have to drive through the snow. Now, I wasn't set on being home by Thursday, but you know, Friday was my scheduled day to go home. So from Mobile, Alabama, I'm now looking through the slim pickings and trying to figure out how to either get to Texas, or the load that I was picking up was going to take me to Arkansas, which would have put me pretty close to the house. So everything that I was looking at was either going north or going east. Wasn't very many options for me. So I was almost to the point that I was frustrated, because this, you know, like I said, this keeps happening. I'm guessing it's luck of the draw, because it's not, I didn't have issues with canceled loads hardly at all. I mean, it was kind of random every once in a while, but over the last several weeks, it kind of seems to be a normal thing. So, so at this point, I did a search of loads that were going to Oklahoma City or within, I think it was 200 miles, I think is what I looked at. And I found a load out of Hodge, Louisiana, going to Oklahoma City that didn't deliver till Monday morning. And Hodge, Louisiana was actually en route from Mobile, Alabama to my house. Now, it had some deadhead on it, but it would get me home by Thursday evening, and I could sit on the load all weekend and then deliver it Monday morning. And so that's what I did. It was 353 more deadhead miles to Hodge, Louisiana. And then it was 472 miles loaded to Oklahoma City. So with the 262 miles, then the 353 miles, and then the 472 loaded miles, that was a total of 1,087 miles. Now with the 150 vehicle not used, and then that load paid $1,513.76. That gave me a total of $1,663.73 for that run. So $1,663.76 and a total of 1,087 miles. I put my rate per mile of $1.53. Now that's not a good rate at all, especially with fuel prices like they are. But it did cover my cost. And it still put that run there still had a little bit of profit on it. It did get me home Thursday evening, so I was able to do a 3-day weekend, and it put me home before the snow and all that kicked in, so I didn't have to drive in any of that. Now that load weighed 39,932 pounds. So delivered that load Monday morning, and then I deadheaded 18 miles from one side of Oklahoma City to the other side of Oklahoma City to pick up a load going to Belton, Missouri. That was 348 miles loaded. So that's a total mileage of 366 miles, and that load paid $778.79. That's a rate per mile of $2.12 a mile, and that load weighed 39,491 pounds. So that was the end of my week. I actually ended up hauling 3 loads for the week. Average weight for the week was 29,551 pounds, and I ran a total mileage of 2,277 miles. Now my revenue for the week, 4,462 miles and 36 cents. That's a rate per mile of $1.95 a mile. So not a great week, but not a complete disaster either. So I hope y'all can still hear me. There's a train rolling by right now. Yeah, that's what I got to sleep next to last night, right there. Fortunately, they don't come through all the dang time, but they did roll through a few times last night. But anyway, so like I said, wasn't a complete disaster. The total revenue on it was about what I usually end up running anyway on my short week. Usually I try to be right around the 4,500 whenever I go home for the weekend. And I actually ended up with an extra day off this weekend. So not really anything to be upset about. It is frustrating. I mean, I would have had a better week had that load not canceled on me, but it is what it is. You know, you gotta, like I keep saying, you gotta be able to overcome it. You can't let it get you down. You gotta keep moving. So, but that's where I'm at. Like always, I appreciate y'all watching. Hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe, stay safe, keep the rubber side down and the shiny side up, and I'll catch y'all on the next one. Y'all have a good day.